Hey folks, Lee Smith, Spouses Buying Houses. Hey, I get investors, both foreign and domestic, who come into Indy and want to buy multifams because they hear it's quick, easy, cash money, baby. And it can be, but you guys need to run your numbers and you need to run them better because I'm seeing a lot of you guys coming into Indy and you're paying way too much for these properties and you're getting your butts handed to you. And I'm tired of seeing it. I feel bad for you, but caveat emptor, baby. So I'm going to teach you guys how to run the numbers, how to do your due diligence so that you're not getting your butt handed to you. And I know you think you know more than me, but I've been in the industry for over 10 years in Indianapolis, and I post a lot of this stuff, and I get all the locals who are savvy and all the local property managers who are also savvy, and they like this stuff. But a lot of you guys are doing whatever the hell you want because you think you know better. I love you guys to death, but you guys need to figure it out. And I'm tired of watching you guys get your butts handed to you. So let's figure it out. You ready? All right. So this is a post that I copy and paste all the time. And I get property managers who click it, love it. I get local savvy investors who love it. I get some of you guys who are real savvy here in Indy, and you like it and you love it. It is totally the truth, and you need to make sure you are factoring this in before you go buying into multifams. Multifamilies are great. I'm not going to try and poo-poo all over multifams. I own multifams, but you have to know how to run your numbers. You guys are paying way too much for these things, and you're getting your butts handed to you. All right, look. Most multifamilies in Indy are in low income areas. C's, D's, and F's. The stuff that's A's and B's are a lot higher in price and they're super rare. And you're just not going to cash flow as much as you think you are. So most of these that you see getting advertised are in low income areas. And they're older. 1900s to 1950s was when they were built. There's a ton of deferred maintenances out there. Okay, so when you buy one of these things, you need to have $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 worth of reserves built up because you are gonna get hit in that first year with a bunch of stuff you didn't expect. I don't care if you got an inspector to go through it or whatever. You're gonna get hit by stuff, unless you're spending $300 to get the sewer line, scoped, or unless you're, doing all this stuff, you're gonna get your butts handed to you. There's a reason why a lot of investors and a lot of turnkey guys are selling these things. They have gotten abused over the years. And a lot of them are putting lipstick on a pig. They go in and do a quick, fast rehab. They throw a tenant in there that'll pay, that's just desperate to rent. And then they sell it to you guys. And you're like, oh, I'm going to get $700 aside. I'm going to get $1,400 aside. Dude, did you run your numbers? Because it's a $550 a month rental per side. So anyways, these houses are older, 1900s, 1950s, lots of deferred maintenance. You're going to have some reserves built up to fix them. Watch out for owner-paid utilities. Man, this is a biggie. Guys, I'm telling you, look, listen to me. You can ask a realtor till you're blue in the face. Hey, who pays what utilities? 90% of them are going to say, oh, I think the tenant pays all utilities. You need to find out for yourself. Because there's a lot of multifams in Indy where the owner pays some or all of the utilities. Now, while water and sewer is easy to budget for, you're probably going to pay $50 to $60 per unit per month. Heat is not where you want to be at, right? Because we get cold here in the winter, and a tenant will crank the heat up and then open a window to cool down. You do not want to pay that fuel bill. So you want to make sure that there's 2 meters on the house. And if it's got gas heat, you want to make sure there's 2 gas meters if it's a 2-unit property. And hopefully there's 2 water meters. But a lot of them, the owner pays water and sewer. Excuse me. All right. So you need to watch out for owner-paid utilities. Call the utility companies and say, hey, 123 and 125 Main Street, are that 2 water meters or 1? You can, when your guy's out there looking at the property, he can take pictures of the gas meters and he can take pictures of the electric meters. But water meters can be in basements, they can be in pits, could be under snow. They're harder to find. So I would call the utilities. It's Citizens Energy Group. All right. All right, here's the biggies. These are the ones that are going to eat you alive on these multifams. You have a higher vacancy rate. Vacancy rate is when one tenant moves out and you get the property, well, that's a term. One tenant moves out, how long before you can get another tenant in? That's vacancy rate, right? In my single family houses, I can fill a vacancy in 2 to 4 weeks. In my multifamily houses, it's double that. It's 4 to 8 weeks. So you got to budget for that. You're no longer talking 8%, you're talking 12, 16% of your gross rents going towards vacancies. Here's the other big one that's going to kill you. Higher turnover rates. When my average tenant in a single family goes for 4+ years. My average in a multifam is 1 to 2 years. You're going to have turns. A lot more turns. Now, there's ways to deal with that, but it's going to cost you a lot more money too. But you need to be factoring that you're going to have a tenant move out. I would factor every year. That's the way I figure it. If I'm buying a multifam, I love multifams, but I got to get the right numbers to buy these multifams. If I'm factoring numbers on a multifam, I'm figuring that I'm going to have a turn every year in that house. Okay? So, and a good turn, one tenant moves out and another tenant moves in, it's going to cost you probably $1,000 to $1,500, right? Now, some of that will be covered by their security deposit, but not all of it. I mean, I can count on one hand in the past 10 years. I can count on one hand, and I lost 4 of those fingers in a chainsaw accident, whatever, 4 of those fingers in a chainsaw accident. How many times I've given back a full security deposit? It's 2, but whatever. So you're going to have turns, and the average turn is about $1,000 to $1,500. A good turn. A bad turn, an eviction, you're going to get eaten alive, dude. Because it's probably in the, depending on how the house was prepped before they moved in. I mean, it could be $3,000, it could be $8,000, $10,000. I mean, flooring. If I got to replace flooring in a house, you're talking $360 a square foot. But that's for good, durable stuff that's going to help save you in the long term after that. Paint, $150 a room, right? So these are things you need to factor in that you're going to have turns. So all right, so let's do some stuff. Okay, now here I want to show you guys this. You need to I'm going to run this over here. You need to run numbers on these houses. Don't trust the realtors telling you, oh, we get $700 a month, or the wholesalers telling you, oh, I get $700 a month. Or you fix it up and you're going to get $800 a month. Unless you've done your due diligence, you don't know that for certain, right? So let's look over here. I'm going to pull up a house here. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to pull up a different one. Hold on a second. I should have zoomed this out a little bit. You need to run numbers on these houses. Let's see here. Yep, this is where I want to be. Okay, so you need to pull up a website like hotpads.com, or you need to pull up like renometer.com. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't trust their numbers, Renometers or Hotpads. Sorry guys, my phone's going off. Don't trust Hotpads, don't trust Renometer to tell you like averages or median income. Because I've seen like Renometer, like I could go through here all day long and be like, oh, 575, 575, 650, 515, whatever, another 515. Here's a 645. And Renometer would tell me that the average rents were $850. Where did you see $850 in these? And I don't know where they get their numbers, but by going through and clicking on these different houses, I can get a good figure for what I'm looking at. And if you're dealing with a multifam, you need to realize that it's multifam. Don't compare a multifam house at $575 to a 3-bedroom single family house at $775. Right? You need to make sure that what the comps that you're looking at are actually multifams, right? $645 for a 3-bedroom. That's a 3-bedroom single family house, not a multifam. Look, this multifam is a 1-bedroom. It goes for $575. I think that's high, but look at that. I could rent a 3-bedroom by myself for $645. What's the difference in price, guys? $75, $70. There's not a big difference in these, right? I go up here, 2-bedroom, $650. I can get the 350 for $650, or 3-bedroom for $650. I can get this 1-bedroom for $515. I can get this 3-bedroom for $775. There's not a big price difference. You got to be aware of that crap. So, when you're going to get a tenant, you want to be able to see, look, here's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. That's a multifam. It's rented for $650. Here's a multifam, $650, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's probably the same. No, it's different address. But anyways, so you need to go in here to hotpads.com. You need to zoom in on your address, or you need to go to Rent-A-Meter, and you need to zoom in on your address, and you need to be clicking on these things. And then you need to figure out what you, the guy watching this right now, you need to figure out what you think the real numbers are. Don't trust the current property manager. Don't trust the current, wholesaler. Don't trust the real estate agent, because here's what's happening. These guys are fixing these houses up, and they're taking anybody with a heartbeat and throwing them in. And what's going to be the result? Let me tell you right now. 50% of the time, I end up either evicting or the tenants move out on inherited tenants. So you buy the house, it's got 2 tenants in place. 50% of them, at least one of them is going to immediately move out or be evicted. At least one. So you guys need to factor that in. Inherited tenants are not a good idea. They're not great. I mean, factor in that you're going to have to replace them, right? Because, what rehab am I going to have to do immediately if I lose both tenants in this duplex? Because that is a possibility that you will lose both tenants. Because some of these guys, you show up with a heartbeat. I'm desperate for a house, desperate. I got to have a house. I got to have it tomorrow. I'm staying in a motel for $200 a week. I got to get into your place. And so they'll rent it to them. Okay, it's $700 a month. Well, rents are $550. And these guys are like, I'll pay you $700. And they're like, okay. So they move them in. They got a lease and everything to show you. It's all pretty, nice little pretty lease. It's $700 a month. And these guys will wash out in a month. They can't afford it. No due diligence or anything like that. Man, I have yet to see anybody who comes to me and shows me a property they're looking to buy, and they got lease ledger, they got lease, they got, the application and all that crap. That just doesn't happen. So you guys need to be looking at these houses, looking around the neighborhood, see what stuff is renting for. I mean, we can run a CMA for you, a comparative market analysis, and show you rents that went through the MLS, right? And those should have been done by agents, and they should show this stuff is all active leases, not, historical stuff. This was leased for $645. It's actively being, listed for $645 a month, right? So you need to understand that. All right. So now we know how to run numbers to find out how much our house should rent for, right? You can look at these and you can look at pictures. Okay, it's a single family house. Okay, that's what the quality of the inside is. These got hardwood floors, but they look pretty ratted out. The bathroom is all tile. And you can look at this stuff and see if it's a comparable house to yours. So, you can see that. Now, again, also, asking price is not necessarily sale price or leased price. So that's something else to keep in mind. All right, so let's actually run some numbers on some houses here, okay? Now, I'm going to show you, this is a duplex. This is one of my current clients, right? This is his duplex that he's got. It's like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, right? It rents for $550 a side. He pays water and sewer, right? All right, so let's run the numbers. $550 a side. It's $1,100 a month. You with me? All right, now, vacancy and credit loss. When one tenant moves out, it takes me a month and a half to 2 months to rent it to another one. 8% is 1 month a year that I'm factoring for vacancy. I'm going to lose that much money per year to vacancies. All right. 10% is going to average repairs, or annual average repairs. So 10% of my gross rents are going to repairs. And that's, I don't care who you are, I would factor that 10% in on any property that you buy, especially for the first year. Now, maybe over a couple of years, you're going to dial it down a little bit because you're getting whatever, but you're going to have to factor in, you're going to have to replace roofs, you're going to have to replace HVAC, you're going to have to replace, just other stuff, windows, flooring, paint. You've got to factor that stuff in. So I would always leave this at 10%, me personally. Some people tell you, 5%. Yeah, I wouldn't. 10%, baby, especially on multifams, because you're not talking one furnace, you're talking two. You're not talking one bathroom, you're talking two. You're not talking one whatever kitchen, you're talking two. So you got to factor this stuff in, all right? So I always add in a 2% accounting and legal. That's kind of fluff, but that's also, me dealing with my accountant and whatever and what it's going to cost me. And it's not that much money. And then 10% for your property management. Now, I'm going to show you a caveat that you guys probably aren't thinking about, all right? This number is actually higher than 10% a year because property managers in Indy charge first month's rent to find and place a tenant, and then they charge 10% of your gross rents to collect rents, schedule repairs, blah, 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 right? So it's not 10%, right? Let's run some numbers on this, okay? So our gross rents are $13,200, right? Times 0.9. You're going to pay 10% out for property management, right? 10% right off the bat, 10%. So that's $11,880. So we're not making $13,200 gross. We're making $11,880 after we take out the 10%. Oh, but wait, I got to do the placement fee. And I'm going to tell you now, factor in that you're going to have both units go vacant every year, right? You following me? So I'm going to factor in another $1,100. So subtract $1,100 for placement fees. Because no property manager, after about 10 months, the good property managers like us, after 10 months that a tenant's been in place, we're good. We don't warranty your placement fee. So if a tenant's been in there for longer than 10 months, then we're going to charge you another placement fee when they move out and you get another one in. So I'm going to subtract another $1,100 for placement fees. So now your gross rents are not $13,200, they're $10,780 after we take out property management. And how much is that? $10,780 divided by the $13,200? It's about a little over 18% of your gross rents go to property management. You feeling me? 18%. It's actually like 18.4, right? 18.3. But we'll leave it there. Now, I don't care. You can rerun the numbers and you can say it's only 10. This is going to make you all warm and fuzzy that you're getting this great stellar deal. Let's do it. Let's run it. 10%. 10%. All right. This particular property, taxes are $1,472 a year. 2% of your assessed value is going towards property taxes. And there's probably also some other special assessments by the burb, the school, whatever, that they're getting more money out of you. So this guy's, our taxes are $1,472. All right. Now, water and sewer. This house, the owner pays water and sewer. I'm going to say it's $50 to $60 per unit for water. So I'm going to figure it's between $100 to $120 a month that we're paying in water. So let's just take it middle of the road, $110 a month. Okay, you following me? You feeling me? All right. Property insurance, $550 a month. $550 a year on a duplex. All right, should be able to get that pretty easily. You may even get cheaper. You may even get cheaper on some of this other stuff. Anyways. All right, so a lot of you guys are telling me, I'm looking at this deal, it's $80,000, right? So we got our $80,000. All right, now here, I'm going to tell you something. This is marked annual permits. There's no annual permits in Indiana. But here's the deal. Remember earlier I told you every time you have a turn, you're going to have $1,000 to $1,500 in repairs. Okay, you feeling me? Remember that earlier? So I'm going to factor in, I'm going to have 2 turns a year. And let's be cheap about it. It's $1,000 to do that turn per unit. So it's $2,000. You feeling me? $2,000 a year I'm kicking out just to that. What's my cash flow on this thing? $280.83 a month. Are you guys seeing that? $280.83 a month cash flow. You feeling me? Now, it's only $166 per month. I mean, if I got rid of this, I mean, it's not realistic to get rid of this, but you're still at $447.50 a month, right? If I pay $80,000 for this house, and I'm getting $550 a month, it's a 4% cap rate. Are you taking that? I mean, are you happy with a 4% tax or cap rate? I'm not. Let's say we take out that $2,000. Remember earlier? $2,000. I'm not going to spend that. I'm going to have a tenant stays forever. It's still a 7% tax or cap rate. And remember, I kept this at 10%. What is this bad boy if we go the way we should be? 18% and $2,000 a year. 2.89%. Man, we ain't Manhattan. We ain't getting 2.89% on a rental. Because I'll tell you right now, this thing isn't going to appreciate in value. These multifams in these low-income areas, they don't appreciate. I mean, the same houses that I was looking at in early 1990s. Yeah, I'm old. Those same houses are still worth the same amount. These low income areas, they don't appreciate. It's not going to be 5 years from now you're going to sell it for 100,000 or 160,000. I mean, shoot, it's just not going to happen. I see time and time again. I'm seeing guys that are coming in here and they're buying these houses, and then 6 months later they're like, "Holy cow, I'm getting my butt handed to me. I got to get out of this property," and they're selling them. All right, now let's compare this property. All right, now let's go conservative again. We'll leave this a 10 because I'm trying to treat you guys right, and I'm just going to leave that in there. I don't care. 280, right? All right, so let's look. Here's a multifamily in probably that same a single family in that same neighborhood, right? 2 bedroom, 1 bath, right? It rents for $650 a month. Wait a minute, $550 a month. There's only $100 difference there. Okay, maybe I get $700 a month, but we'll leave it at $650 because I really want to show you guys the worst case scenarios over here. So $650 a month. I get $650 a month for this bad boy, right? Okay, now it's a single family house, so my vacancy rate is lower, about 1 month, 2 to 4 weeks. That's what it takes me to rent one of those. Same maintenance costs, average maintenance costs, 10%, 2% for accounting and legal, 10% for property management. All right, you follow me? You feel me? Same taxes, $14.72. Property insurance, $550. I don't have to pay the water and sewer anymore, guys. Tenant's gonna pay that. $550 for property taxes. I'm not gonna factor. I'm gonna have a turn every year, right? Let's be conservative and let's just say what's $1,000 because there's only one unit. Well, we'll leave it $1,500. So $1,500 divided by, let's say you get 4 years out of a tenant. What is that? 333, something like that. Yeah, let's just do 350 a year that we do in turns. I don't think it's even going to be that, but whatever. Or let's put it whatever we need to. 500, right? All right, so 244.83, right? And I could buy that house for $60,000. I'm not kicking out 80 because it's such a stellar deal. I'm kicking out 60 grand for it, and that's too high. I mean, you know, I'm not going to buy something that's a 5% cap rate. I mean, let's get rid of the annual fees, right? Now all of a sudden, yeah, we're still at like a 6%. So 60 grand, guys. And you get a 5.73% return. Is that good enough for you? I don't know. Is it good enough for you? It's not good enough for me, but maybe it's good for you. Because I'm seeing a lot of guys paying these prices for this stuff. So you guys need to, I mean, you know, it's $286.50 for the single family house. What are we getting cash flow here? $280.83. $286.50, $280.83. Which one do you want? Because if I got to replace 2 furnaces, that's a lot more money than 1 furnace. So it's not that I'm trying to poo-poo on these things. So all of a sudden, let's say that you're all into this duplex for $40,000. Holy smokes, I'm up to an 8.42 return. Right? That's pretty doggone good. Right? $40,000 all in on this property. Not $80,000, $40,000. Right? Let's say I'm buying this house for $45,000. $7.64%, right? You know, what if you can rent this house for $700 a month? This is a single family, right? 8.57% return. I mean, you guys, if you're going to buy these multifams, make sure you're getting them for a good enough price, right? I don't buy a multifamily unless I'm all in for 20 grand a door. Now, I don't get a lot of them, 1 or 2 a year. I mean, and that's all in. Buy it, rehab it, rent it. But some of you guys are paying $60,000, 60 to 80 for these things. 60,000. It's a 5.62 return. I mean, you can tell me I don't know my stuff. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But I've been in the business a long time. This is the numbers, baby. These are what really happens on these properties. And you guys, unfortunately, are getting your butts handed to you because you could think that you're going to come in here and you're going to get you know, oh, it's going to be 8%. I'm only going to have 1 month a year, you know, 1 month. And oh, this guy told me I could get, you know, whatever, $600 aside. So I'm at $1,200. And, you know, I'm not going to have turns ever. And so all of a sudden, oh, yeah, that's an 11% return. Oh, and I'm going to pay, well, whatever. We'll leave it at 60. You bought it for 60. You living in pixie dust, unicorn, pixie dust world, and this is what's happening. I'm not trying to come off negative. I know I'm coming off negative, and I'm mocking a lot of people. But these are real numbers, guys. I mean, you just, I see you guys spending this money, and it, I mean, you know, I guess I'm a little perturbed because A, I know you guys are going to get your butts handed to you, and B, I wanted to buy the house. But you guys are getting your butts handed to you because you're paying this stuff. So anyways, all right, so click the like, click the subscribe, tell me how rotten, dirty, punk, whatever I am. Please, in the comments, let's talk. I mean, I'm trying to run numbers for you guys. I'm tired of watching you guys get your butts handed to you. And I want you guys to be more successful. I want you to come to Indy. I want you to use us. I want you to use whoever. I want you to be successful. I want you to make $1 billion. I want you to be the next Warren Buffett. But you guys got to be sharper and smarter about this stuff. And, you know, these numbers don't even include debt service, guys. If you get a loan on these houses, good Lord, I don't even want to talk about it. Because you're going to get your butt handed to you. If your cash flow was $200 or $300 a month before cash or debt service, and you added debt service in, you're $50, $100 a month. That's just nasty. And then you have a turn that's $3,000, $4,000. You just ate up 4 or 5 years of your profits. Scares me. All right, guys. Click the like, click the subscribe. Ask me some questions. Tell me I'm a dirty, rotten, filthy scoundrel down in the bottom. That you don't agree with me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm okay with that. But let's have a discussion. Anyways, thanks, guys.